Hey yo, let's go. It's your boy Big Earth 340 here. Just gonna do some dry practice drills. I got my little caddy here, and like everybody knows who knows me, I'm a baseball, football, basketball coach. So I have a bunch of old baseball gear, like some ball caddies and different things like that I'm going to integrate into my workouts, so I don't have to be chasing magazines all the time. I won't use them all the time, but sometimes it's just a little easier when you don't want to go hunting for the magazines. As you can see too, I've been reading the comments, and thank you guys for your constructive criticism. And a lot of people have been saying, hey man, you need to move out of that small room and move into a bigger space when you can't get to the range. So I'm in my garage. So I moved out a lot of stuff. I cleared it out this weekend, long weekend. So I was able to get the project done. And so basically I have a bigger space for me to do some work. So, looking forward to all the comments, looking forward to all the feedback. Chasing progress over perfection, consistency over intensity, training with purpose, not trying to be perfect, but trying to get 1% better every day. So let's get it, guys.
Show up. Anyway, hey yo, let's go, Vibe Tribe. One thing I've learned over the years is that the hardest part of training usually isn't the training itself, it's simply showing up. There will always be reasons to skip a session. You're tired, you've had a long day at work, it's hot outside, life gets busy. We've all been there. But I've realized something. The days I don't feel like training are usually the days I need it the most. That's why I don't wait until I feel motivated. I rely on discipline because motivation comes and goes. But discipline is what keeps you moving forward. When I step into my garage or head to the range, I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone else. I'm trying to become a better version of myself than I was yesterday. Some days the reps feel smooth, and other days I have to work for every single one. Sometimes I pick up the dot immediately, and sometimes I don't. That's all part of the process because every repetition teaches me something if I'm willing to pay attention. One thing I always tell people is to train with intention. Don't just go through the motions. Before you ever pick up the firearm, ask yourself, what am I working on today? Maybe it's your presentation. Maybe it's your grip. Maybe it's your trigger press, or simply slowing everything down and reinforcing good habits. Every session should have a purpose because purposeful practice is what creates lasting improvement. A lot of people ask why I post so much of my training online. The answer is simple. It keeps me accountable. When your journey is public, you can't hide from your mistakes. They're right there for everyone to see, and honestly, I'm okay with that. My goal has never been to look perfect. My goal is to improve. I hope someone watches these videos and realizes they don't have to be perfect either. They just have to keep showing up. Progress doesn't come from pretending you have everything figured out. It comes from being honest enough to admit where you need to grow. Every training session gives you feedback. Some days it's encouraging, other days it reminds you exactly what still needs work. Either way, it's valuable. That's why I don't chase perfection, I chase progress. Every time I step into this garage, every time I pick up my gear, every quality repetition becomes another investment in the person I'm working to become. So if there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, it's this. Don't wait until everything is perfect before you begin. Start where you are. Use what you have. Train with purpose. Train with intention, and most importantly, keep showing up because that's where real growth begins. Getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. Hey yo, let's go, Vibe Tribe. One thing training has taught me is that growth usually starts the moment you become uncomfortable. If every session feels easy, if every drill goes exactly the way you planned, chances are you're not pushing yourself enough. Right now, I'm out here in my new garage. It's hot, I'm sweating, and I'm controlling my breathing between reps. A few months ago, I probably would have looked at the conditions and thought, maybe today's not the day. But now I see it differently. Not every workout is going to happen in perfect conditions. And honestly, life doesn't wait for perfect conditions either. That's one of the reasons I enjoy training in different environments. Sometimes it's an indoor range, sometimes it's outside in the heat, sometimes the bench is higher than I'm used to, sometimes there's not enough room to set everything up exactly the way I'd like. Instead of getting frustrated, I've learned to adapt. Every environment teaches you something if you're paying attention. Something else I've realized is that slowing down doesn't mean you're moving backward. In fact, some of my biggest improvements have come from deliberately slowing things down. If a presentation doesn't feel right, I'll stop and do it again. If I don't pick up the dot the way I wanted, I don't force the next rep. I reset, take a breath, and repeat it correctly. Those quality repetitions are what build confidence over time. People sometimes think confidence comes from hitting every shot. I don't see it that way. Confidence comes from knowing you put in the work. It comes from knowing you've repeated the fundamentals enough times that when things don't go perfectly, you have something solid to fall back on. I also think it's important to give yourself permission to be a beginner again. Every time I learn a new skill, try a different optic, or change the way I train, I know I'm probably going to struggle at first. That's not failure, that's learning. If you're never willing to look like a beginner, you'll never give yourself the chance to become advanced. One thing I've learned over the last few months is to stop comparing today's performance to someone else's highlight reel. Compare today's performance to who you were yesterday. That's a comparison you can actually control. So while I'm out here getting these reps in, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm trying to build habits. Habits become consistency. Consistency builds confidence, and confidence carries over into every area of your life, not just on the range. So wherever you are in your own journey, don't avoid the uncomfortable days. Lean into them. Those are usually the days that teach you the most. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep putting in quality work. You may not notice the improvement after one session, but give it enough time, and one day you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. The process is the reward. One thing I've learned is that the process will always teach you more than the outcome. We all want tighter groups, faster times, and smoother presentations, but those things don't happen overnight. They're built one repetition at a time. Something I've started doing after every range session or dry practice session is taking notes. Nothing complicated, just a few observations. What felt good? What needs work? What did I learn today that I didn't know yesterday? Those notes have become one of my greatest training tools because memory fades, but written lessons stay with you. Sometimes I look back at notes from a month ago and realize I was struggling with something that now feels natural. Other times I see a pattern that reminds me I still have work to do. Either way, I am learning. That's another reason I share my training publicly. People usually see the finished product, but I want them to see the process. I want people to understand that improvement isn't magic, it's repetition, it's consistency. It's being honest with yourself enough to admit where you need work and disciplined enough to keep showing up anyway. One thing I've noticed is that when I stop worrying about looking good, I actually start performing better. There's no pressure to impress anyone. The only person I'm competing with is the version of myself from yesterday. That's a competition I can control. I don't expect every session to be amazing. Some days everything clicks, and other days it feels like I'm starting over. But I've learned not to judge a training session by one bad repetition. I judge it by whether I learn something that will make the next session better. That's the mindset I'm trying to build, not just on the range, but in life. Keep learning, keep adapting, keep moving forward. One thing people don't always see is how many repetitions happen before anything starts looking smooth. These are the reps that never go viral. Nobody is cheering, nobody is keeping score. It's just you, your mindset, and your willingness to keep working. I think that's where real confidence comes from. Not because someone tells you you're improving, but because you know you've earned it. Every quality repetition is another brick laid on a solid foundation. That's why I never rush these moments. I'm investing in consistency. Why I keep recording. Sometimes people ask why I record so much of my training. Honestly, it's not because I think every session is amazing, it's because every session teaches me something. When I watch the footage back, I notice things I completely missed in the moment. Maybe my posture changed. Maybe I rushed a presentation. Maybe I broke my grip during a reload. The camera doesn't judge you, it simply gives you another opportunity to learn. That's one of the reasons I encourage people to record themselves, not to impress others, but to become your own coach. Something I've learned is that slower doesn't mean worse. Sometimes slowing down is exactly what allows you to identify what's actually happening. Was my grip consistent? Did I pick up the dot the same way? Was my trigger press smooth? Did I follow through? Those are questions speed can't answer. Sometimes you have to slow, keep showing up. As this session comes to an end, I hope one thing stands out more than anything else. None of what you've watched today is complicated. There are no secret drills, no shortcuts, no magic equipment that's going to replace consistent work. It's just showing up with a purpose, putting in quality repetitions, paying attention to what the target is telling you, and leaving with a little more knowledge than you had when you started. That's really what this journey has become for me. Not chasing perfection, not chasing someone else's timeline, just making a commitment to improve a little every time I train. Some days that's a tighter group. Some days it's a faster presentation. Some days it's simply recognizing a mistake sooner than I did before. That's still progress. If there's one thing I hope you take away from those videos, it's this. Don't wait until you have the perfect setup. Don't wait until you have the perfect gear. Don't wait until you feel confident. Confidence comes from doing the work. It comes from putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, learning from them, and coming back tomorrow ready to do it again. If you're willing to keep showing up, stay humble enough to learn, and patient enough to trust the process, I truly believe you'll surprise yourself with what you're capable of. Thank you for spending part of your training day with me. I appreciate every one of you who's been following this journey, sharing your own experiences, and helping build this community. My hope is that we continue learning from one another because none of us has it all figured out. And that's okay. We're all students. We're all improving. We're all putting in the work. Until next time, train with purpose, train smart, stay ready. I'm Big Irv 34. Oh, hey, yo, let's go.
Hey, yo, let's go. So just got finished doing some dry practice work. I did okay today. Maybe not my best day, not as smooth as I would like to do or like to be. Some of the things that even before I look back at the footage, and again, the reason why I tape myself is first of all to not hide anything from you guys because I am actually looking for the constructive criticism and the feedback so I can continue to improve. You don't get any better hiding in your apartment. So you got to get out in front and start to put yourself in uncomfortable situations so you can grow. So my uncomfortable situation is posting my stuff on my media page so everyone can see, and also too if I can do it, hopefully I can encourage somebody else to have the same confidence that they can do it too, because they'll see me failing and they'll see that I'm a work in progress just like everybody else. So if you see something that I can do to improve, please let me know. If you see something that you can use that I do, then go ahead. If you see something that you see that I'm not doing right, so then you know how it looks and then you know not to do that. So just a couple of things even before I look back on the tape that I realized that I did. First of all, some of my clearing of the garment and presentation out frontwards was not as consistent. It wasn't the same each time, and that's what you want to get. So, you know, basically you want to get a good high grip on the back strap, indexing on the holster here when you're drawing out, and you want your hands to meet, but you want this meeting point to be consistent all the time. So if you're gonna meet here, then you meet here. My recommendation is maybe to more so meet here and then extend out. So on my mag exchanges, just a couple of things that I realized that I did too as well. Some of them I did like this, some of them I did like this, and that's just because sometimes at different ranges you have to you can't do mag exchanges with the muzzle pointed up in the ear because of range rules. So I practice both ways, right? But the preferred way is like this, right? And so basically, you know, some people like it more closer here. For me, as someone who's training and trying to induce a lot of stress, I more so like to practice out here. So this way I can just make sure, even if I'm under a high stress situation, that I can actually see the mag exchange, right? And so I am looking at the mag in. So sometimes I did look at it, sometimes I didn't. And so another thing that I noticed, and this is making sure I have a consistent seating of the mag, right? So seating of the mag here and back out, right here on target. So those things, you know, I know the right fundamentals, right? So it's not that I don't know them, it's just to sometimes execute them when you put yourself in a situation with some induced pressure, and the camera on me is some induced pressure, so I'm going to continue to work. Really appreciate you guys following the journey. Really appreciate all the feedback, all the comments, all the encouragement, even the negative comments. You know, all of that stuff is just part of the growth and part of building a community where we can exchange ideas and all get to where we need to get to. So this is Big Earth 340. Hey yo, let's go. Signing off. Until next time, guys.